Nintendo finally did it. They finally did it. They confirmed the next Nintendo console. So many rumors have been going around for the past year and a half, if not 2 years at this point, about the Switch 2 or the next Nintendo console. But thankfully, Nintendo finally confirmed something. And it's actually a little more concrete than I was expecting. I mean, I guess they usually do this before they announce their next console. Like, before the Switch. Like, they even mentioned it in the tweet. They mentioned, like, how in March 2015 that they confirmed the Switch. That's when they announced the NX and everything. But they usually kind of give a general idea of when the next console is going to be revealed, or when it's going to release and everything. But we finally got that confirmation here, so we should be expecting the next console to release within the, like, around the next year, I would say. But there's a lot to unpack here. So they mention that it's going to be announced within the physical year. So that's any time in the next 10 months, since the physical year ends in March. So it could be either, like, this summer, this fall, the winter. We'll just have to see. What I'm guessing is that this will probably be announced in the fall, like the original Switch. I don't think it's going to be announced as early as the summer, because they did mention there's also going to be a Direct with no mention of the Switch successor, so it's likely not going to be announced before then. So I'll get into the Direct thing in a little bit, but this is pretty interesting, and it's kind of going in line with what a lot of people were expecting, like an announcement like sometime this year, with it releasing in 2025. Because if it just gets an announcement this physical year, I don't think that confirms the release date this physical year. If they're mentioning that there's going to be a Direct with titles for the Switch, like within the latter half of 2024, I don't think we're going to get this console until 2025. So I feel like this basically confirms our expectations of this console releasing sometime in 2025. But yeah, I think it's likely going to be like an early 2025 release at this point. Like, considering that they're now mentioning that it's like happening and everything. Sometimes they do announce their consoles like very far in advance, like the Switch or the Wii, and different things like that. But I feel like nowadays Nintendo kind of announces things a bit sooner, like a little closer to when they actually release. So I'm definitely expecting like spring 2025, or possibly summer 2025 as well, but sometime maybe in the first half of 2025. That's kind of what I'm expecting here. And another thing that they mentioned, and I feel like this can be perceived in a couple different ways, is the fact that this is a successor to the Nintendo Switch. I feel like one way this could possibly be perceived is that it's just another Nintendo console in general. Like, Nintendo always kind of refers to their consoles as like a successor to the last one. But I feel like the fact that they did like specify that it's a successor to the Switch rather than the next Nintendo console kind of implies that this is something like the Switch 2, or like a console that builds off of the Switch and everything. I think it makes a lot of sense to do something like a Switch 2, since the hybrid formula works so well for Nintendo. Like, it's partially contributing to the fact that Nintendo has been doing so well over the past few years. Like, they mentioned in their like financial data release that like Nintendo over the past few years, they've been doing better than the past 35 years combined, which is just absolutely insane. So it makes a lot of sense to stick with the hybrid formula and everything. But yeah, we'll just have to see what they show with this and everything. So just so far, it's pretty similar to what most of us were expecting, like with how this next console will likely play out, with how it's going to release and everything. But the other interesting thing that definitely caught me off guard in this tweet is the fact that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. Nintendo never announces Directs this far in advance. I think they kinda did that, like back in the Wii U and 3DS era, but during the Switch era, it's usually only 1 or 2 days, and they're never usually this transparent about it. So I think it's actually really interesting and actually kind of great that they're being more transparent about it and saying, oh, we're going to have a Direct. We're going to show the games that will release in the latter half of 2024. We do have things planned for the Switch in the latter half of 2024. I think that's really good that they're being transparent about it, and I wish they were more transparent about things more often. So we do have something to look forward to next month, and I think June makes a lot of sense for the next Direct. Like, since we don't really know much after Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, other than the fact that Metroid Prime 4 still exists. That's like, it's really the only thing that we know when Nintendo doesn't really have any games on their lineup. So we're probably gonna see what they have planned. If Metroid Prime 4 doesn't show up in this Direct, it is likely gonna be a launch title for the Switch 2. I am almost certain, if not a launch title, like early in the life cycle of the Switch 2, I would say. It might even get a mention, like, in the Direct. They might even be very vague about it and not say it's for the Switch successor. And they might say it's for the Switch, but then later on, they'll reveal that it's like a thing that's releasing, like a dual release on both, like, the Switch and the next console. We'll have to see. They might have that as, like, the final announcement or something. But we do know, like, a little bit about what Nintendo might reveal in this Direct. I'm definitely gonna do, like, a full discussion about the Direct, as well as, like, a discussion about the Switch 2 as well. But we do know that the Nintendo World Championship thing is gonna happen sometime soon and has already been rated. So there's a possibility that that will be announced in the June Direct, as well as something like a new Mario Party. I think that's very likely, considering the fact that there usually is a new Mario Party game pretty late in the life cycle of a Nintendo console. And we also got that leak from Midori recently about, like, a game being developed with the codename Banquet, which is very similar to the codename Buffet, which was Super Mario Party's codename. So this could possibly be a new Mario Party game. I think that's potentially going to be the holiday title. And we could also see other things, like basically a port of the remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I think that's also possible, if not a new 2D Zelda game, though I feel like they might save that for the next console. But yeah, I think it's pretty exciting that we do have some news about this now. I think it's great that we're kind of looking forward to the next console now, and I think they're giving us enough time to kind of, like, be hyped about it and kind of have a few more games to look forward to. I am glad that they didn't drop this info before we had, like, a lot of info of the Thousand Year Door, because we do have enough time for that game to sell well. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.